Are you tired of yo-yo diets and obsessive calorie counting that never seem to lead to lasting results? You're not alone, and there's a better way. In this video, we're going to take a calm, deep dive into why most diet methods fail and how a science-backed approach called structured nutrition can put you on the path to sustainable weight loss and better metabolic health. Think of this as a friendly workshop with a nutritionist. We'll explore how your body really works, from blood sugar and metabolism to lifestyle habits, and how you can finally break free from the endless diet cycle. Let's get started. Why most diet methods fail. Most popular diets promise quick fixes, but many of them set us up for failure. Why? First, they often rely on extreme restrictions or one-size-fits-all rules that are impossible to keep up long-term. You might lose weight initially by severely cutting calories or eliminating entire food groups, but this can wreak havoc on your metabolism and willpower. Extreme calorie cutting, for example, can slow down your metabolic rate and spike hunger hormones, leading to intense cravings and eventual binges, undoing all your progress. Skipping meals or following very rigid plans usually backfires because extreme hunger inevitably leads to overeating later on. Another reason typical diets fail is the misconception of healthy eating. Many people imagine eating healthy means nibbling lettuce, suffering through bland, unsalted meals, and never enjoying food. It's no wonder they feel miserable and unmotivated. In reality, a healthy diet can be delicious, varied, and satisfying, but traditional diet plans often ignore this. The result is that people feel deprived. Monotonous, tasteless menus and the lack of enjoyment make it impossible to stick with such diets. We're human. If food feels like punishment, our enthusiasm and willpower fade quickly. As one expert put it, people often skim the surface of diet advice without learning the enjoyable nuances of cooking and eating well. In short, overly strict, joyless diets fail because they don't address the real-life challenge, making a healthy lifestyle rewarding and sustainable. Lastly, many diets focus only on what or how much you eat, calories, points, etc., but ignore how your body reacts to different foods. 2 meals with the same calories can affect your energy, hunger, and fat storage in very different ways. Conventional approaches that overlook things like blood sugar spikes, insulin responses, or the timing of meals are missing the bigger picture. Weight loss is not just about eating less, it's about eating smart. If a diet leaves you lightheaded, fatigued, battling cravings, or if it doesn't fit your daily life, it's destined to fail. So if most methods have let you down, take heart. It's not you lacking willpower. Often it's the approach that's wrong. Now let's talk about a better approach that addresses these pitfalls: structured nutrition. The core principles of structured nutrition. Structured nutrition is a holistic, science-based way of eating that focuses on how food affects your body, your blood sugar, hormones, and metabolism, rather than just counting calories. It's about working with your biology, not against it. This approach has a few key principles that together create a solid foundation for healthy weight loss and maintenance. The main pillars include: avoid high glycemic index foods. Steer clear of foods that cause big spikes in blood sugar, especially those with a glycemic index, GI, over 50. These are typically refined carbs and sugars. Think white bread, sugary drinks, candies, etc. Limit high insulin index foods. Even some low sugar foods can trigger a large insulin response. For example, heavily processed foods or certain animal products. Keeping those in check helps prevent constant insulin spikes. Combine foods wisely. Pay attention to how you mix carbohydrates, fats, and proteins in a meal. Certain combinations can overload your system. For instance, a heavy carb and high fat meal, whereas smarter combinations aid digestion and metabolism. Follow a meal schedule. Regular meal timing is important. Don't skip meals, and do try to eat at consistent times to avoid extreme hunger or late night eating. Stay properly hydrated. Water is crucial for metabolism and overall health. Even mild dehydration can slow down bodily processes and be mistaken for hunger. Cut back on excess fatty foods, especially during weight loss phases. Minimize deep fried foods and high saturated fat items. While healthy fats are necessary, too much added fat can hinder progress. Use healthy food preparation methods. How you cook matters. Favor methods like baking, steaming, stewing, or air frying over traditional deep frying to preserve nutrients and avoid unnecessary calories. Choose quality ingredients and oils. Watch portion sizes. Even with nutritious food, portion control prevents overeating. Structured nutrition teaches you to be mindful of servings so you feel satisfied but not stuffed. These principles work together as a system. Unlike fad diets with one gimmick, structured nutrition gives your body stable energy and all the nutrients it needs while gently nudging your metabolism to work efficiently. Let's break down a few of the most important concepts in this approach: the glycemic index strategy, smart food combining, and meal timing. Glycemic index. Quality of carbs matters. The glycemic index is a measure of how quickly a food raises your blood sugar. High GI foods like glucose, white bread, sugary cereal, sweets, or even some overcooked processed starches are digested very fast, causing a rapid spike in blood glucose. You get a quick burst of energy, but it's followed by an insulin surge and then a blood sugar crash. That crash leaves you feeling tired, shaky, and hungry again soon after. If you've ever had a donut for breakfast and then craved a snack by mid-morning, you felt this effect. Over time, these roller coaster spikes contribute to weight gain and can mess up your metabolism by promoting insulin resistance. In contrast, low GI foods like most vegetables, legumes, or whole grains digest slowly and lead to a gentle, gradual rise in blood sugar. The energy from a bowl of steel-cut oats with berries will be released steadily, keeping you full and focused longer than, say, a sugary pastry would. By eliminating or greatly reducing high GI foods, you prevent those wild swings in hunger and energy. This means fewer cravings and easier fat loss. For example, during the weight correction phase of a structured nutrition plan, you'd swap out foods like white bread, GI 70, 80, for true whole grain bread, GI 45, or alternatives like buckwheat bread. You'd replace quick fixes like candy or soda with nuts, yogurt, or fruit, which have fiber and protein to blunt the sugar spike. This glycemic index strategy is fundamental. It keeps your blood sugar stable, so your body can tap into fat stores and you don't feel constantly ravenous. A quick note: hidden sugars are everywhere. Many processed foods or even natural sweeteners can spike blood sugar just like table sugar, so a structured approach teaches you to read labels and recognize these pitfalls. Even things like fruit juices, honey, or agave syrup can have a high glycemic impact, Better to consume them sparingly, if at all, when you're trying to lose weight. Focus on whole foods with low GI, and your body will thank you with steadier energy. Smart food combining. Don't overload the engine. Another core element of structured nutrition is how you mix different foods in the same meal. The principle here is simple. Certain combinations, especially high carbohydrate plus high fat in one meal, can overwhelm your metabolism. When you eat a lot of carbs and fats together, your body has to decide which to use for fuel. Typically, the carbs, sugars, and starches will burn first for immediate energy, and the fats are more likely to get stored for later. It's a bit like trying to burn two types of fuel in an engine at once. One will end up in storage tanks. Over time, frequent meals that mix heavy fats with refined carbs, think a big bowl of fettuccine alfredo or a cheeseburger with fries, make it very easy for your body to stockpile fat. Structured nutrition recommends pairing foods in a way that optimizes digestion and energy use. In practical terms, that means if you're having carbohydrate-rich foods, grains, potatoes, fruit, etc., pair them with lean protein or fiber-rich veggies, not with lots of fatty foods. For example, have whole grain pasta with a tomato mushroom sauce and a side of greens, rather than drowning it in cheese or cream. If you eat bread, choose something like a slice of whole grain bread with a bit of lean protein, e.g. a tuna or white meat chicken spread, plus veggies, instead of butter or heavy spreads. Save the higher fat foods to pair with non-starchy vegetables or proteins at other meals. For instance, enjoy eggs or cheese with a big veggie omelet. Protein plus fat plus veggies is fine. Or have an avocado and chicken salad with olive oil, mostly healthy fat plus protein plus low-carb greens. But avoid eating a high-fat item at the same time as a large carb portion like potatoes or rice. This way, you're not overloading your system with two major fuel sources simultaneously. You'll digest better, and your body can more readily burn what you eat now rather than socking it away as fat for later. Many people notice less bloating and more energy when they follow these food combining guidelines. A handy rule of thumb from structured nutrition is called the plate rule. Don't eat foods in one meal that you wouldn't logically put together on one single plate. If picturing all your meal components piled together on one plate seems odd, imagine cake, sausage, and fruit salad all at once. Yikes, that meal is probably an odd combination for your body too. Instead, picture a plate with a coherent combination. For example, a piece of fish, a pile of roasted vegetables, and maybe some quinoa. That looks and feels right, and it will digest and metabolize more smoothly than a random mix of rich, incompatible foods. Now, life isn't about perfection. You might wonder, do I really have to follow strict food combining rules forever? The idea is not to make eating complicated, but to make you aware of what's easiest on your body. Over time, many of these choices, like using olive oil on a salad with fish, or keeping desserts as an occasional separate treat rather than with a heavy meal, become second nature. And yes, there are sensible exceptions. For example, fruits with a handful of nuts or seeds make a fine combination, even though that's technically a carb with a plant fat, because this combo is generally easy to handle and the fiber in nuts slows sugar absorption. The goal isn't to obsess over every bite, but to follow a few common sense patterns that give you a metabolic advantage. Meal timing and lifestyle factors. Structured nutrition also extends beyond what you eat to when and how you eat. Our bodies have natural rhythms. For instance, Eating very late at night can hinder weight loss because our metabolism slows down as bedtime approaches. Insulin sensitivity is lower in the evening, meaning a late meal, especially a high-carb one, is more likely to be stored as fat. One guideline is to finish your last substantial meal about 4 to 5 hours before bed, aiming for an early evening dinner, around 7 p.m. if you go to sleep at 11, for example. This gives your body time to digest and prevents high insulin levels during the night. Many people find that not eating after dinner, aside from maybe herbal tea or water, makes a big difference. You wake up feeling better, and over time it trains your body to burn fat overnight rather than constantly processing food. Another timing tip: don't start your day with a big sugar hit. A common mistake is having pastries, sweet cereals, or even just a big bowl of fruit first thing in the morning. This can spike your blood glucose early in the day and lead to an energy crash by late morning. A better option is to have a balanced breakfast with protein, healthy fats, and some low GI carbs. For example, eggs with veggies and a slice of whole grain toast, or Greek yogurt with nuts and berries. If you love fruit, enjoy it, but it's best to have fruit earlier in the day, before the afternoon, and ideally paired with some protein or fiber. That way, the natural sugars from fruit are absorbed more slowly and used when you're active. Structured nutrition encourages regular meal patterns too. Skipping meals or going long stretches with no food can lead to intense hunger that causes you to overeat later. It's much kinder to your body and psyche to eat at consistent intervals, such as 3 balanced meals a day with a healthy snack if you truly need it, rather than the feast or famine cycles so many dieters fall into. By keeping meal timing consistent, you avoid the trap of "I'm starving, I'll eat anything now," which often leads to poor choices or oversized portions. And remember, hunger is not the enemy, but extreme hunger is. We want to manage your hunger so it stays at a manageable level, never reaching that desperate point. Put together, these core principles, controlling blood sugar spikes, eating high-quality foods in balanced combos, and aligning with your body's natural clock, create a powerful framework. This is a flexible, livable approach, not a rigid diet. To make these ideas even clearer, let's look at a few everyday examples and metaphors that illustrate how structured nutrition works. Examples and metaphors to illustrate the approach. Sometimes new concepts sink in better with a relatable example or analogy. Here are a few to help you visualize structured nutrition in action. Think of your metabolism as a fireplace. High GI foods are like crumpled paper tossed into the fire. They ignite quickly into a bright flame, but burn out just as fast. You're left cold and needing more fuel. Hello, snack cravings. Low GI foods, however, are like adding a dense log to the fire. They catch slowly and then burn steadily for a long time. By choosing slow-burning carbs and fiber-rich foods, you keep your internal fire warm and steady, instead of the fire flaring and dying repeatedly. This means more consistent energy and less frequent hunger throughout the day. Food combining is like planning a trip for your digestive system. If you overload the itinerary, say, send your digestion to carb land and fat land at the same time, it gets overwhelmed. Imagine trying to drive to 2 far apart destinations at once. You'll end up wasting fuel, and one destination will be missed entirely. In a similar way, when you eat a large amount of carbs and fats together, your body can only fully deal with one at a time, and the other ends up stored as body fat for later. Instead, Structured nutrition is like giving your digestion a clear, single destination. One meal might focus on lean protein plus veggies plus a moderate amount of healthy fats, destination, fatland, in a controlled way. Another might be lean protein plus veggies plus healthy carbs, destination, carbland, and so on. Each meal is simpler for your system to process, so nothing excess gets lost or stored on the way. Picture the plate rule, literally. This is a handy visual trick. Before you eat, picture all your meals items mixed together on one plate or in one bowl. Would that combination make a coherent dish? A veggie stir fry with chicken and cashews. Sure, that sounds great together. But fish plus a milkshake plus a muffin, that mental image should make you wince a little. Your stomach would wince too. If it's not a logical plate, it's probably not a great combination for your body. This metaphor reminds us to keep meals simple and harmonious. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy various foods, just maybe not all at once.
Picture your metabolism like an engine. Here comes sugar, fast fuel. Without control, it floods the chamber and the RPM spike. Insulin steps in, trimming the flow and keeping things from
the wrong gasoline or overfill the tank. Think of sugar as a fast-burning fuel. If you flood the tank with it, the engine, your body, has to scramble to use it or stash it away quickly. Insulin is like the car's fuel regulator. Too much fuel, sugar, and insulin works over time to store the excess in fat cells. Now consider fiber, protein, and healthy fats as a slow release, efficient fuel. They keep the engine purring without flooding it. When you follow structured nutrition, you're basically refining your fuel mix. High octane, stable energy from quality foods, instead of a burst of cheap fuel that leaves sludge in the engine. Your body, the car, will run smoother and last longer this way. Real-life meal makeover example. Let's take a common meal and give it a structured nutrition twist. Say breakfast used to be a big muffin and a flavored coffee drink. That's a lot of refined carbs and sugar first thing, a classic high GI, high-calorie combo that will likely lead to a mid-morning energy slump and hunger. Applying our principles, we swap this out for a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries and almond butter, plus a cup of plain coffee or tea. Now we have whole grain oats, low GI, full of fiber, a bit of natural sweetness and antioxidants from berries, and healthy fat and protein from almond butter. This meal will digest slower and keep blood sugar stable, so you stay satisfied longer. It's still delicious and comforting, but now it's working for your body, not against it. By late morning, you might realize you're calmly focused on work instead of raiding the vending machine. Multiply these smart choices across each day, and you start to feel the difference. Steady energy, fewer cravings, and gradual weight loss without misery. Each of these examples shows that structured nutrition isn't about depriving yourself. It's about making informed choices. Small changes in what and how you eat add up to huge differences in how you feel. And when you feel better, more energized, nourished, in control, it's much easier to stick with healthy habits. This brings us to another crucial element often overlooked in weight loss, the emotional and psychological side. Emotional and psychological aspects of weight loss isn't just a physical process, it's an emotional journey too. If you've been stuck in a cycle of diets, you probably know the feelings, the stress of strict rules, the guilt when you mess up, the frustration of plateaus, the emotional comfort and letdown of eating treats when you're sad or tired. A sustainable approach must address these human factors compassionately. First, cravings and mood swings. A lot of the intense cravings and energy crashes people experience aren't just about willpower, they have a biological basis. For example, a diet high in sugar and refined carbs can set you on a blood sugar roller coaster that magnifies cravings and leaves you irritable or fatigued. Ever feel shaky or get hangry, hungry, angry when dieting? That's often due to poorly managed blood sugar. By following structured nutrition, keeping those sugars in check, and including protein, fiber, and healthy fats, your blood sugar remains more stable and cravings naturally diminish. Steady blood sugar means your brain gets a consistent supply of fuel, which can improve your mood and reduce anxiety around food. In essence, fueling your body the right way can help even out your emotions, making it easier to resist the occasional temptation because you simply don't feel as desperately hungry or deprived as before. Second, psychological satisfaction is vital. We are not robots who can eat nutrient pellets and be happy. We take pleasure in food, and we should. Structured nutrition encourages you to find pleasure in nutritious foods by preparing them in delicious ways. Remember those misconceptions about healthy eating being bland? In reality, you can enjoy spices, herbs, colorful produce, and varied cuisines. When your meals are both healthy and flavorful, you don't feel like you're missing out. For instance, if you love chocolate, a structured approach wouldn't say never have chocolate. It might suggest having a few squares of dark chocolate after a balanced meal, rather than devouring a milk chocolate bar on an empty stomach. You still get joy from food, but in a thoughtful way that aligns with your health goals. The positive psychology here is making friends with former enemy foods, as one of our guides says, finding healthier versions or moderate ways to include treats so that nothing is strictly off limits forever. Deprivation leads to fixation. Balanced inclusion leads to peace. Let's talk about stress, fatigue, and emotional eating. We all have moments when we reach for comfort food not out of hunger, but out of stress, sadness, or exhaustion. It's important to recognize these patterns without beating yourself up. Structured nutrition can help reduce those moments in a few ways. Physically, eating in a balanced way reduces the extreme fatigue that often triggers sugar or caffeine binges. You might find you no longer hit that 3 p.m. wall of exhaustion that used to send you running for a sugary latte, because your lunch was designed to give you lasting energy, say, a salad with chicken, avocado, and quinoa, instead of just a slice of pizza. Also, being well-nourished means fewer nutrient deficiencies. Sometimes cravings are your body's cry for missing nutrients, like a magnesium deficiency can manifest as a chocolate craving. By covering your bases with wholesome food, you may crave less because your body isn't desperately seeking a fix. Emotionally, it's crucial to have non-food coping strategies for stress. High stress levels can actually alter your metabolism, increasing hormones like cortisol that encourage fat storage, especially around the belly. Stress and lack of sleep also impair insulin sensitivity, making it easier to gain weight. That's why managing stress and getting good sleep are part of a weight loss plan, not an afterthought. When you feel frazzled, instead of immediately seeking solace in ice cream, structured nutrition encourages practices like a short walk, a breathing exercise, or even a cup of herbal tea to calm down. And if you do eat something not on the plan, structured nutrition teaches you to move on without guilt. One slip doesn't ruin everything. The body is remarkably forgiving if you get back to healthy habits. What causes failure is all or nothing thinking. So no more "I ate one cookie" so the day is ruined. Might as well eat 5 more and quit. Instead, you learn to enjoy a cookie mindfully if you truly want it, and then continue with your nutritious choices. Remember, the goal is not perfection, it's consistency and progress. A huge part of the psychological battle is learning to trust your body and be kind to yourself. Your body isn't an enemy to conquer in war. It's a partner that will work with you when you treat it with care. When you feed yourself balanced meals, stay hydrated, and get rest, you'll notice you're less at the mercy of wild cravings or emotional roller coasters. Gradually, food becomes friend, not foe, and eating well becomes an act of self-care rather than self-punishment. This mindset shift is incredibly empowering for long-term success. Lifestyle factors beyond food, hydration, sleep, and stress. Now that we've covered nutrition in depth, let's zoom out and look at the lifestyle pieces of the puzzle. Weight loss and metabolic health aren't just about food. They're influenced by how you hydrate, sleep, move, and manage stress. These factors can tip the scales, literally, in your favor when handled right. Hydration. Water as your weight loss ally. Proper hydration is often the unsung hero of health. Our bodies are 50 to 70% water, and water is involved in nearly every bodily function, from digestion to circulation. For weight management, drinking enough water can actually help control appetite and improve metabolism. We sometimes confuse thirst for hunger. If you're even mildly dehydrated, you might feel low energy or peckish when what you really need is a glass of water. By staying well hydrated, you ensure your cells can do their job efficiently and you avoid those false hunger signals. Water also helps with digestion, especially if you're increasing fiber intake. Fiber needs water to do its job. A helpful habit is to drink a large glass of water first thing in the morning and then regularly throughout the day. Listen to your body's signs. Dark-colored urine, headaches, or dry skin can be signs you need more fluids. On a structured plan, you might find you naturally drink more as you cut out sugary beverages. That's great. Replacing soda or sweet tea with water or herbal tea cuts calories and hydrates you at the same time. In short, water keeps your engine running smoothly. Make it a routine part of meals and between meals. And yes, you'll probably visit the ladies' room more often, but that's a small price for feeling better. Prioritize quality sleep. Never underestimate the power of sleep in your weight loss journey. Good, restful sleep is when your body repairs itself. This includes balancing hormones that control hunger and metabolism. If you skimp on sleep or have very poor quality sleep, your body perceives stress and pumps out more cortisol, the stress hormone. High cortisol can lead to increased appetite and specifically more cravings for high-calorie foods. Lack of sleep also throws off the hormones leptin and ghrelin, which regulate hunger and fullness, making you feel hungrier and less satisfied the next day. You might notice when you're exhausted, you gravitate towards sugary or starchy snacks for quick energy. It's not your imagination. Insufficient sleep boosts appetite and lowers your resolve. So aim for a consistent sleep schedule where you get roughly 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. Create a calming bedtime routine, dim lights, no heavy meals or screens right before bed. Quality sleep will not only improve your mood and energy, but also directly support better blood sugar control and weight management. In other words, think of sleep as part of your weight loss plan. It's as critical as any meal choice. Stress management and self-care. We touched on stress earlier, but let's emphasize it here. Chronic stress can stall your progress even if your diet is perfect. When you're stressed, your body shifts into fight or flight mode, an evolutionary response that was great for escaping predators, but not so great for modern life. Chronic stress keeps your cortisol levels high, which can lead to increased fat storage, especially visceral belly fat, and can make your cells less responsive to insulin. This means stress can tilt you toward insulin resistance, a precursor to weight gain and metabolic issues. Managing stress is therefore not a luxury, but a necessity for your health. Find techniques that work for you to unwind daily. It could be exercise, meditation, yoga, journaling, or even simple practices like taking deep breaths and short walks during the workday. Social support is key too. Talking to friends or seeking support from a community or a counselor can help lighten emotional burdens. Remember that structured nutrition isn't just about food choices, it's about a balanced lifestyle. So if you're nourishing your body with good food, also give it the benefit of a calm mind. Lowering stress will help regulate your hormones, reduce emotional eating, and make you feel more in control. Over time, you'll notice better sleep, better digestion, and yes, easier weight loss when stress is managed. Gentle movement and activity. While our focus today is on nutrition, we'd be leaving out a big piece if we didn't mention physical activity. You do not need to kill yourself at the gym to lose weight. In fact, overly intense workouts when you're not fueled or rested can backfire by increasing stress and appetite. Instead, aim for regular, moderate activity that you enjoy. This could be brisk walking, cycling, swimming, dancing, or even just being more active in your daily routine, playing with your kids, doing housework energetically, etc. Moving your body helps in so many ways. It burns calories, yes, but it also improves your insulin sensitivity, meaning your cells become better at using energy and less likely to store fat. Exercise boosts mood, reduces stress, and can help regulate appetite for some people. A realistic goal to start with might be 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week. If you haven't been active, start gently. Even a 15-minute walk has benefits. The key is consistency and finding something you like so that it doesn't feel like a chore. Over time, as you lose weight and gain energy from the structured nutrition approach, you'll probably want to move more. Your body will revel in the strength and vitality that comes from combining good nutrition, rest, and activity. To recap this lifestyle section, hydrate, sleep, de-stress, and move. These are simple habits, but together with structured nutrition, they form a powerful synergy for health. Each one helps the others. For example, exercise can improve sleep. Good sleep helps control stress. Low stress helps you make better food choices. Eating well gives you energy to exercise, and so on. Rather than thinking of weight loss as a short-term project, see it as a gradual lifestyle upgrade where you build routines that make you feel strong and balanced. This holistic approach is truly the key to long-term success. Conclusion: a sustainable journey to health. As we conclude, let's take a moment to appreciate how far we've come in understanding sustainable weight loss. We started by acknowledging the frustrations of traditional diets, the cycles of hope and disappointment, the feeling of fighting your own body. Then we flipped the script by learning how to work with your body's natural systems through structured nutrition, stabilizing blood sugar, combining foods thoughtfully, timing your meals kindly, and embracing a whole lifestyle that supports your goals. The overarching theme is balance. Rather than extremes of all carbs are evil or fat is the enemy or punishing yourself with starvation, you're adopting a balanced approach grounded in science. You're focusing on nutrient-rich foods that keep your metabolism happy and on habits that keep you happy and sane. This is not a quick fix, and that's a good thing. Quick fixes tend to quickly unfix themselves. What you've learned today is meant to be a sustainable way of living, a set of principles that you can adapt to your tastes and your life. It's about making changes that are small enough to live with, but significant enough to improve your health day by day. You might be thinking, this is great in theory, but can I really do this? Yes, you can. Start with 1 or 2 changes at a time. Maybe this week you swap out a high GI food for a low GI alternative at each meal, and you establish a rule of no eating after 8 p.m. Maybe next week you add a daily walk for stress relief and make sure to drink an extra glass of water in the afternoon. Each step will reinforce the next. And if you slip, remember it's normal. Just gently guide yourself back on track at the next meal. Over time, these structured nutrition habits will become second nature. The results will come, perhaps not overnight, but they will come, not just in the form of a smaller number on the scale, but in how you feel, more energetic mornings, fewer cravings, a clearer mind, a sense of control and confidence in your lifestyle. Before we sign off, it's worth noting that you don't have to do this alone. There are resources and tools designed to support you on this structured nutrition path. For example, the Health 360 app is one tool that incorporates many of the principles we discussed, from tracking low GI choices to reminding you to hydrate and balance your meals. It's an example of how technology can help keep you accountable and informed, and it was developed with approaches like these in mind. Whether you use an app like Health 360 or not, the point is that help is available and you deserve support. Sometimes having a structured program or community can make the journey easier and more enjoyable. Just remember, any tool is as good as how you use it. You are always in control, and the knowledge you've gained gives you that power. Quick CTA addition. Say it calmly if you want to check the tools I mentioned. I will leave links in the description. No pressure, they're just there if you like structure. Quick extra note, because I know many people want results not only for health, but also for confidence. When your eating feels structured and your body feels more stable, style becomes easier too. That's why I also work with a second app, Smart Wardrobe, Style and Try On. It helps you plan outfits from your existing wardrobe and feel put together without constantly buying new clothes. The link is also in the description if you want it. In closing, I invite you to explore more and keep learning. Your health is a lifelong project, but it doesn't have to be a painful one. By understanding your metabolism, listening to your body, and making mindful choices, you can achieve the weight loss and wellness you've been seeking and maintain it for the long run. No more yo-yo, no more guesswork or magic pills, just a sustainable, balanced lifestyle that truly works for you. Thank you for joining me in this deep dive into structured nutrition and metabolic health. I hope you found it enlightening and empowering. Remember, the journey to health is not a straight line, but every smart choice you make is a step forward. Be patient and kind to yourself, celebrate small victories, and stay curious about what works best for your body. Here's to your success and well-being. You've got this.